edition of Tuesday Talks. Woo woo!
Woo!
Okay. You all know I don't get out much and it doesn't take much to get me excited. So just having a little dance party at home. I wanted to just kind of review kind of the flow of things tonight so that we can all be on the same page. We have a great evening planned. And so as you know, Tuesday Talks just started. It was a result of last week, Kansas City Special Education Family Virtual Check-in. There were about 30 of us from the school district and charter schools, and we had some college representatives. We had social services, and we had medical, and we had a lot of community partners who serve families with disabilities. And the overall sentiment was, let's keep the dialogue going. And so when I thought about just the times that we're in and how there's so much going on that we don't have control over, I thought, let's dedicate some time to create our own sacred space, our time together to connect so that we can get through this quarantine and we can lean on and learn from one another. And so the format that we're going to follow is we will lead off with a 20-minute presentation, followed by 10 minutes of question and answer. And then the last 30 minutes will be dedicated to resource sharing. And so with that in mind, I will introduce our esteemed presenter tonight. We are very, very fortunate to have Annette Ervin, a veteran, seasoned special educator who is on the front lines and working directly with children, with parents, guardians, and families to get through the remainder of the school year. And so, as we know, it's never simply an academic piece. It takes the whole family and the whole community really to come together to support our young learners. And so with that in mind, I am going to turn it over to Miss Annette Ervin and let her share her pearls of wisdom from the front lines of urban education. Take it from there, Miss Ervin.
Well, I am happy and honored to be here. As Kim stated, I have been teaching now for over 35 years, and most of my years have been with the special ed community. I have worked with every facet of special ed, from working with the autism, Asperger's community to working with learning disabilities, emotional disturbance. I have had the resource room, I've had self-contained, I have had a little bit of, a fun doing it all, work with regular ed. And so I gain a lot of energy from working with kids. It simply kind of brings out the kid in me. So I try to make it as enjoyable as possible for them, for me, and for their families. So I was sharing with Kim this week how I was looking on social media and I was hearing a lot of families saying how this was impacting them and how now I'm taking on this role as a teacher and I'm getting stressed and you know um, I'm ready to suspend and expel and all of that. And so at first, like day one and maybe day two, I was kind of chuckling along with those stories. But by day three, then it was no longer funny to me. And I started saying, wait a minute, everyone is forgetting that the kids are definitely, their lives have been totally impacted by this. You know, the kids are used to routines, friendships, people in their lives, sameness, and all of a sudden, you know, their lives have been tremendously impacted, and especially for our special needs community, you know, our special ed learners who definitely are used to routines. And so I'm like, who's thinking about them? So I started sharing with her some of the things that I was sharing with the parents to try to make this season as relaxed for them, relaxed for our learners, relaxed for everyone, because even though it's a stressful time, we don't have to project that stress onto them. I wrote down a few points since we have the first segment, um, where I guess I'm going to kind of like be sharing with you some of the truths that I've been sharing with my parents and other friends who are in the profession. So I think I have like 5 points that I want to make. Point one, all of our learners, all of our children, our students, they take cues from their parents. So, you know, if we're handling this season all stressed out and, you know, over anxious, and we have all of this rigidness in place, like the world is going to end if everything is not done in one day, then, you know, they're going to feel that stress and that anxiety, and they're going to become overwhelmed. And that's how the tantruming, that's how the kickback from them occurs, because they're feeling that stress. They're feeling like something is not right here. You know, I don't know how to express it verbally, but something desperately is wrong here. So I've been telling all of my families that make sure that you're managing the stress level within yourself. Make sure that you are doing whatever to stay relaxed. If it means having some easy listening music going on in your home, you know, have that in place. If it means that you need to incorporate your time where you have that, you know, your quiet time, be it, you know, your bubble bath or just your moment where you're lighting your candles, whatever environment that you create to keep yourself as comfortable and stress-free as possible, that's very, very important, because you're going to be, number one, leading them to know that everything is going to be okay. Yes, different doesn't always mean that, you know, it's not okay. Different can just simply means different. This is just different. So that's my point number one. And so I share with them, and I will share later some strategies where they're still learning, but you can make learning enjoyable. And this is an excellent time to do that. Number two, I would say establish a routine. Our learners are used to having a routine. They're comfortable with routines. They were used to getting up, waking up, having breakfast roughly around the same time, catching their bus around the same time, greeting the bus driver. They know who is to be picked up next. They know what teachers are going to, meet them, what hall monitors, I mean, we greet them with, you know, between a fist bump and, we all have our own way that we greet them. And so they were used to that. They know they're used to their friends. Oh, they will share with you, whether it was verbally or non-verbally, they let you know that their friends have arrived at school. So they were used to that. They let you know if someone is not there, so they were used to that. They were used to knowing the routine of every day. For example, it was sometime that I would get really busy and I would forget that, on a particular day, then the coach may come and get them for gym. Oh my goodness, would remind me, no, it's Thursday. They would point to the schedule and let me know that, on Thursday, coach comes and get us and we're ready to go to gym. So they're used to the routines of life. And um, so I think it's important to maintain a routine. Does it have to look like that? No, it doesn't have to look like that, because different doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just we're going to create a new routine. But it does need to be a routine such as still getting up, getting dressed. you know, you can make the routine of, you're going to do breakfast preparation since you have a little bit more time to it. So, if they're one who, wouldn't mind helping in the kitchen or, creating, whether it be we're going to have pancakes, we're going to let you stir, we're going to let you help create and make breakfast because we have more time, and you remind them that we have more time now. So you can pull out some of the cutesy, fun recipes to engage them with breakfast preparation. You still, if you were used to having it at the breakfast table, still do that gathering together. Whatever parts of the routine that you can maintain, then maintain that. But then you can interject, let them know we're adding to our morning, the morning versus getting ready to get on the bus. Then you can, interject. It could be exercise moment, or it could be, you know, just make it kind of fun, fun before we start the routine of whatever piece need to have a component of structure. So again, that part, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but step two is try to keep as much normalcy as possible, meaning keep a routine in place, but let them know that we're creating a new routine, and it's okay that we do that. Step 3, make sure that you are engaging in self-care and helping them engage in self-care. For example, eating healthy. That's good for us as parents. If we become just junk food eaters and just, then they're going to definitely become junk food eaters too, because they're probably like the hot chips and the and the candy and the snacks more than you. But making sure that you're continuing to eat healthy, you're eating healthy, and making sure you're serving them healthy foods. Exercise or physical activities. I believe in brain breaks. Absolutely believe. I mean, after every activity, for example, after reading, we have a brain break. After math, we have a brain break. And YouTube is full of fun brain breaks to have. So, you just have a brain break, doing exercise to music. And like I said, we're in an age of technology. Let technology work for you, because there's a lot of fun brain break activities to have. And then also creating some, excuse me, other fun activities. Hold on, I got choked. Let me get something to drink. Okay. Other fun activities, freestyle drawing or painting or playing with Play-Doh, or, all of that, getting a chance to do that and talking about it. So what are you creating? And, make those pieces interact with one another. If you're creating a picture, let them talk together. I had some of my kids, we always have more socks that don't match than do match. So, have a puppet show with those socks that don't match. Draw a little face on it and do a little puppet show with them. Let them become part of it. Laughter. Laughter is healthy. I'm telling you, just laugh. Laughter, they view as happiness. They see you laughing, they're laughing, you're just being silly. And I'm telling you, when I laugh with kids, I overlap. I'm telling you, I belly roll. I literally can roll over on the floor laughing. And man, they interpret that as happy. Miss Ervin is silly and happy, you know. So create an atmosphere where you're having fun, and you have a moment that's soothing to them. Laughter and fun and music, and all of that is so soothing to them, because it lets them know that that we're happy. They know that most people who are interjecting humor and laughter are absolutely happy. So interject that, and then of course interject those just cuddle moments. It's okay to cuddle, you know, put out a blanket, and just bring in your buddies and just have a cuddle moment. It's okay. You'll need that, and they'll need that. Play some soothing music and let them know. You can put up a little timer, whether it be on your phone or a timer. Say, this is just our quiet time. We're just going to cuddle, because you'll need it and they will need it. So they love routines, they gravitate towards routine, and they can adapt to routines. And I will say, number 4, I wrote down, let them stay connected. It's okay to stay connected to their friends and to their teachers and people in the world. We're in an age of technology, so they can have virtual play dates. We can, I mean, we're zooming and we're all in different homes, so give them an opportunity to have a play date virtually with their friends, and you'll hear them just being silly and laughing, and it won't make sense to us whatsoever. Don't try to monitor it. We don't have to control and monitor everything. Just let them be silly willies, and that's okay. Let them interact. Ask their teacher, send them an email or whatever. Can they do a Zoom date with you, a play date with you, because these are people in their world that they love, that they're used to, and it would be very comforting for them to see those people. So allow them to see them. So that's what I had as number 4. And then number 5 is, again, focus on the positive. I personally, I might read from my phone, look at what's going on, in terms of, being prepared, staying safe, etc. But I don't have that going on, the TV going on in my home all the time, because the news is interjecting a lot of fear, and they're hearing that, and there's different people's testimonies of fear, and you're just hearing, that's going to make them afraid, and we don't want them to be afraid. Yes, safe. Okay, it's okay to interject a safety component. We interject in the school, ways to stay safe. So it's okay, but focus on the positive. We don't want them to become alarmed, over anxious, because then that's not good for them. It's not good for you. Next, they're not going to be able to sleep at night, and it's just going to be all bad. I say. So I say try to keep things as positive. They get all of their cues from you. So make sure, if you do want to watch some of that stuff, try to, maybe once they've gone to sleep, the same news is playing 24 hours a day. So just try not to have that, going on all the time in the environment, because that's not healthy. So those were my 5 points, Kim.
Well, thank you for those 5 points, Miss Ervin. I wanted you to also share the story of the parent who was trying to talk her child, kind of coach him into logging in, and how you had to kind of, just kind of have a talk with her.
Yes, it wasn't just one parent; it was several parents.
Mm.
You know, we put one-on-one devices in the hands of all of our families. However, one thing, it happened so fast. So one thing that technology, nor most of the staff, we did not have them get everything out of their desk. So in their desk, in their pencil box, they have a little sticker, and the sticker allows them to just shine it over the camera, and boom, they are logged into their one-on-one device.
Mm.
Well, guess what? They didn't go on their desks. They didn't go on their pencil boxes. They did not get this little sticker. So therefore, they went home and all of a sudden they couldn't log in. So parents were getting a little excited, like, what do you mean you can't log in? Don't you log in all the time? Yes. How is it that you can log in all the time, but you can't log in at home? Just just becoming quite hyper over anxious
Oh, boy.
over the login process. So, first of all, I had to calm mom down, you know, the moms and dads down. I had to calm them down and I had to say, well, I'm going to I said I will send you that information. I said I too had to wait until technology sent me, you know, all of their login information and everything. So now that I have it, I will send that to you so that they can log in. But in the meantime, let's have them do this. So you know, since I was talking to them from my phone, I just sent to them some little fun drawing activities, just some things that they could be doing while we worked on this. In addition, I told them, I said, at this time, we're not imposing deadlines. We're so concerned about their social emotional health that there's not a deadline on them getting this stuff in at this time. Right now, we're just, wanting to make sure that first of all, they are safe, that they're feeling safe, that everyone is safe in your home. Secondly, we are concerned about their social, emotional being. You know, I'm doing check-ins. So, I sent to them by text and by email these four little faces that the kids could just put a check by, X by, or point to for their parents. Are you feeling happy today? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling, silly? Are you feeling scared? Wanting to do a check-in for them. And then I just assured the parents that it's just okay. Just kind of calm down.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Mrs. Ervin? And could you share the grade that you teach?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Right now, I am working with second graders.
Okay.
First semester of this year, oh, let me back up. I am a retired teacher where for 30 years, I exclusively worked with the special ed population. 5 years after I retired, then I've been getting a lot of assignments. So I do long-term subbing. So I work with special ed. I take special ed assignments and regular ed assignments. So presently, this semester, I am working in the Hickman Mills School District with regular ed learners, and they are in the second grade.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Ms. Ervin? Okay. Okay. Um, how about, let's see, well, we want to thank you for sharing this with us. As you know, we are recording this, and so there were quite a few parents who wanted to weigh in. And I remember one parent, she said, I don't get off until 7, but I'm going to try to like sneak and do it. I'm like, okay, you know what you can do. We were recorded afterwards. And so we'll definitely upload this to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and we have a distribution list, and we'll add you to it as well so you can continue to be in conversations with us. And then I'll go on to the next phase of the presentation unless anyone has any final thoughts or feedback or questions they want to share. Okay, cool. Well, we will keep moving and grooving here. Oh, wait, let's see. Did I do this right? Okay, so no questions. Okay, so on the notion of sharing, I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about some of the resources that are now available to families right now. School Smart KC, as you know, they provide funding for Kansas City public schools and charter schools, and in the area for the purpose of closing the achievement gap, so helping with supports that are needed. And so they just announced today a $2 million COVID-19 fund to help um, teachers and families during this unprecedented time. And I will be glad to share the details about that fund after the call. Another piece that I wanted to share is that for families that have personal care attendants, the state of Missouri has relaxed their regulations, and they are allowing guardians and persons over 18 to take on the role of personal care attendants and be compensated for it. And so, Jenny, did you want to chime in on this?
I sure can. Sorry, you caught me in the middle of trying to eat dinner too.
Multitasking, I love it.
So we did get a little bit extra clarification today. There's one extra question I'm looking at trying to find out a piece to. And let's see of my gazillion and one sticky notes. Well, let me pull my email up because I must have already shredded it. So there were some questions that came up after the call this morning in regards to individuals on the Missouri side that receive PCA services that are under 18 and asking if a guardian can provide PCA as a staff. And that is, I've sent that over to the regional office. I'm waiting for the higher ups from central office to respond to that. And so I should have an answer to that tomorrow. And
Okay.
then there was another question in pertaining to, I have to think about this for a second. I have Chipotle tummy. Okay. Oh, about so with self-directed PCA, the guardian, if an individual's guardian is their designated representative, there's been questions about can their designated rep work, because that's the whole role of that designated representative, and them not working, they can't be a paid staff. And so I did receive clarification on that, and per central office in Jeff City, they said the designated rep can work, but it has to be with a provider agency, which I know you had listed in the list of resources for information we discussed earlier. So a provider agency, the list of providers can be given from your caseworker or your support coordinator that are DMH contracted, but examples are like Jana Home Care. There's about a few more, I wouldn't say a handful, but There are a few more PCA providers out there. I just don't work
Okay.
with a lot of them. Jana Home Care is one of them that I work with, and um, it has to be agency based. So
Okay.
that's the gist of what I know about that. You know,
Okay, Jenny, could you also, I just thought about this
yeah.
for some families aren't even familiar with PCA duties.
Mhm.
What are some of the duties that PCAs provide?
Most definitely. So, um, I'll back up even more a little bit. So, the difference between DMH, which is the Department of Mental Health, and um, the Division of Health and Senior Services, which is DHSS. Um, before someone can get DMH services, they have to explore DHSS services. DHSS services, the big difference between the two is DHSS will do for and DMH teaches. So for a lot of our individuals that are developmental intellectual disabilities, the whole point of us having services is to wanting them to be more independent. And the whole goal behind DMH services is to teach them and give them those skills so they can become independent. So we as in support coordinators, case managers, like to push for those services. I had a family today that even said, I don't want a babysitter, and I'm like, I understand. So DHSS would not work for you. But unfortunately, we have to prove to central office that we have exhausted all options, and so the point of a personal care assistant is for them to, for example, if they have they want to be independent and they have an independent outcome that they're working on in the plan year, they might want to learn how to be more independent with their hygiene, or be more independent with, the hygiene can consist of like brushing their teeth without prompts, getting dressed without prompts, showering without prompts, um, you know, uh, household chores. We use chores lightly, but household things like doing laundry, dishes, cleaning up after themselves, without prompting. A lot of what we want them to do is learn how to be independent and do things without prompting. Um,
Okay.
so that is kind of what a PCA provides, those type of supports in their environment, meeting them where they're at. So
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's very helpful. Okay. Another resource I wanted to share for those students with disabilities who were scheduled to graduate in May, and they need some type of transition plan. Um, Jenny Hatfield Callan with Missouri Family to Family is available to provide transition navigation support. And I'm going to, if you look in your chat window, there is a resource list that is attached. I am also going to update this one. I updated it from this morning, but I'm going to update this one as well. And I'm going to send this list out along with the link the the recording, and so you'll have those resources um, that we have just talked about tonight, and so hopefully a lifeline for families who need to know what's going to happen after high school, especially with things ending so abruptly. And then the final item on the resource list is a KU researcher. Research student is wanting to do a study on the perspective of African American learners with emotional disturbance labels on the impact chronic health conditions have on their capacity to learn in the classroom. And she is offering gift cards in exchange for those families that devote time to helping her with her study. And so those items will be shared with you afterwards tomorrow. So we are every week we're hoping to provide an up-to-date resource and we want you all, if you hear something or if you want us to investigate something, let us know. That's what this second half is for. Um, any other questions or resources, feedback?
Hey, Kim, does that KU student, is there contact information for families to reach out to that person?
Yes,
Just okay.
she has a full list, like this is what she's looking for, this is what the study involves, this is what the gift cards, it's all going to be attached in addition to the resource list.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, once again, let's thank Miss Annette Ervin for sharing her time with us after a day of Zoom conferencing with these youngins and these parents and guardians. She actually made time to Zoom conference with us, and we are so excited. So thank you so much, and
You're
want to
you're
thank.
so welcome. And I just wanted to, if I can just share just some other fun things that I shared with my family so that they can just have fun while learning.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to share just a few of those activities.
Okay.
When I talked about having the cuddle time, I asked them to build a reading den. Like, you know how you can get a sheet, a blanket, a, build like a tent. So you guys are both like up under the tent, or they may want to be up under the tent by themselves. They may want to take their favorite toy in there while they are having their cuddle reading time. You don't always have to have them take in their electronic device, or you can. It just kind of depends what you want. But I call that building a reading den.
Okay.
Another thing, I say, we went outside. I encouraged them to go outside and kind of have like a little scrimmage outside. Find um
Like
um
a scavenger hunt?
yeah, like a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
So they found, maybe 2 leaves, and they might have found 2 different types of rocks, 2 rocks that look different, something that was black, something that was, you can choose different colors. And so we just had a lot of fun, and I had shared with them some particular items that I wanted them to find, but you can make it specific to what's near your yard, what's in your area that you will want them to find. So that can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have to be willing to move some of the cute furniture aside sometime so you can create maybe a little obstacle course in your home, you know. So that means that, just moving some of the furniture aside so that you can pull in some things like, oh my goodness, pillows can serve as part of your obstacle as you're creating this obstacle course. Toys, stuffed animals, all of this, how you go from start to finish, that can be fun. Of course, taking a picture, taking, pictures with their iPads, taking pictures with your phone, and then from those pictures, parents, you can have them create a card. They can design the front of the card. Their picture can be placed in the card, and they're sending their picture and their card to their teacher. They absolutely love their teacher. They love their teacher. So sending, a card, they will probably really love that. I talked about the keeping moving, the dancing. Um, and I would say, let me see if there's one more. I talked about drawing, sketching, and cooking together. Cooking together. It's just so many fun recipes. They love time to cook together. So from different. And of course, Google is one of my favorite friends. YouTube is another. So fun items that you can make at home with your child.
Cool. You know what? And I want to thank you for that. It reminded me, I have one more slide to share, and that is our calendar for April. And they're definitely projecting that we're going to be quarantined through April. And so I wanted us to just kind of get a sneak peek of what's going to happen for us. And so we will have on April the 7th and 14th a 2-part series led by occupational therapist Andy Bongi on strategies for managing challenging behaviors at home during quarantine. And so she is going to talk us through the strategies, but she's also going to give homework to parents. They are supposed to, she's going to teach them how to create their own behavior plans so that, and then to implement those behavior plans during the week. And as a bonus, she is going to coach up to 3 families and work with them to create a behavior plan and coach them through implementing it. And then on April the 14th, she will come back and she and the families will come back and report how things went. And then April the 21st, we are going to have a disability sexpert, Dr. Daryl Lang, who is going to talk with us about sexuality and youth with disabilities and how to have the talk with your child. And so he is not only going to lead a discussion, but parents will have homework. They will have a script and they can customize the script, and they will have, they're supposed to have the talk with their children before the next week. And he is also willing to coach up to 3 families on how to have the talk with their children. And then he and the families will come back on the 28th and share how the developing the script went, the coaching, and how the talk went. So we want to use this time in April to really meet our families where they are, make sure we're giving relevant information. And our goal is that by the end of this COVID-19, this craziness, that we as a disability community, we will leave out of it better, stronger, and more united. And so that is kind of our plan going forward. Once again, I want to thank Mrs. Ervin for sharing her wonderful expertise and advice and just spreading positivity during this very eerie time. And I want to thank each of you all for joining us, and I hope to see you next week.